In India, women have historically been marginalized, cooped up in the home, stopped from going to school. Today, a reported 60% of women in India can't read or write, compared to 25% of men. Across the country, traditional gender roles persist. The woman as homemaker, the man as decision maker. In an effort to obtain more gender parity, India passed the 73rd Constitutional Amendment in 1993, which mandates that 33% of all local political seats be filled by women, and that women-only elections be held. Before this quota was law, women only filled 5% of local political seats. Today, they hold nearly 40%. The Hunger Project has trained more than 75,000 of India's newly elected female politicians on how to lead effectively. Rita Sareen is the India-based director of this global NGO, which executes projects aimed at reducing world hunger.
Today, the poorest of the poor woman in a village who has torn sari, who has never been to a school, who is never addressed by her name, sits on a chair, looks at the budget that has come in and makes a choice by saying, I'm sorry, out of this budget, I have no intention of making a road which will take us to a town because that can wait. I definitely, desperately need a health center within the village so that people don't die.
In this Indian village of Yarlipura, in the western state of Rajasthan, women earn $2 a day to dig a pond under a national government program. 3 months ago, they were just sitting around, but their new district leader, or Sarpanch, named Karma Devi, would have none of this. Devi got the women working under a national employment program that had long been around to better the lives of rural Indians, but no leaders before her thought to implement. A dairy farmer for 12 years and with little formal education, Devi won a seat in a woman-only election 3 months ago.
सीट नहीं मिली थी इसलिए तो नहीं लड़े सीट मिलते हैं हमारे सामने 4-7 थे खड़े.
Devi now heads Kartwala district, which is a collection of about 5 villages. Fetching and carrying water is generally the woman's responsibility in rural India. For most, it fills their entire day, hauling large amounts of water over miles of rough terrain. Devi knew this firsthand. So as her first task in office, she appealed for central government subsidies to help get water delivered directly to her district. This now happens daily.
करने लगे तो जिस पहली जल्दी में उन्होंने बोरिंग फर्स्ट पानी ले रहा हो जी बहुत दूर से पानी ले रहा हो जी टैंकर लाल बामों में के व्यवस्था होगी भाई घर बैठे पानी भर लेता तो दूर से पानी ले रहा हो परेशानी तो आवाज़ से औरता 2-2 अंडे वो अतरी दूर से ले रहा हो जी मीठा पानी आवाज़ खराब पानी से अंडा बुझी की वजह से अभी बोरिंग से आसपास में जहाँ खराब पानी से उनकी दूर पानी से जी बोरिंग को मैं अंडा से ले रहा हूँ सब औरता 2-2 मट्टे वो ले रहा हो.
Women use the time saved from not having to haul water to work for the national program that Devi set up in their village. As a woman, Devi says she was able to look at her villagers' needs with a different set of eyes.
बदलाव ये होगा कि महिला आएगी तो ज़्यादा वो सुनेगी महिला की सुनती है पुरुष तो पुरुष की सुनता है और महिला तो बदलाव ला सकती है कि महिला तो आगे बढ़ा के कुछ भी काम के लिए लड़ सकती है और फिर वो आगे जाके भाई कोई भी काम हो तो पुरुष तो आएगा तो ऐसे बोलेगा महिला को क्या तू पढ़ी लिखी है तो ये मतलब नहीं है घर के बाहर जाके वह करे तो महिला वो आरक्षण मिल जाएगा तो उसके ऊपर दबाव डाल सकती है जो मर्द कर सकता है हम औरत भी कर सकते हैं.
Lakshmi Narayan, a farmer and religious leader in Devi's village, says he approves of Devi's work, but around 25% of the other men in the village don't think she's fit for politics.
पुरानी रूढ़िवादी की वजह से पुरानी रूढ़ी में फंसे हुए हैं ना जो महिला को नीचे दे उसका ऊपर उठने का विचार नहीं भाया हम ही मर्द हैं ऐसे विचार रखते हैं.
In this book, compiled by the Hunger Project, women share their struggles. The majority say their male counterparts take advantage of their ignorance, pose constant obstacles, and hurl insults. One woman leader writes that a local male leader, quote, even tried to throttle me when she tried to get a road built in her village. In many villages, the biggest critics of the quotas are in fact the women themselves.
पहले औरतें बोल रही है कि घूंघट निकालती है तो इतने लोगों के सामने भी है ना मुंह को उगाड़ के है ना सबसे बातें करती रहती है कोई लाज शर्म नहीं है पता नहीं क्या-क्या बातें बनेगी और पता नहीं क्या-क्या कहेंगे.
Still, 23-year-old Suraj Barwa left her job teaching liberal arts after villagers urged her to run for a seat open for women. When a woman-only election comes up, villagers turn into headhunters, urging the most qualified woman they know to run. Many of these women, like Barwa, wouldn't have ever even considered politics. Now, more and more educated women are leaving cushy jobs as businesswomen, consultants, and teachers, and running for office in their ancestral village. But there are still holes in the system. They're called proxy candidates, usually the relatives of former male political leaders. Many are forced to run in elections reserved for women, serving as a proxy for a man. 5 years ago, Muni Devi was voted in as a leader of Hardoi district in Uttar Pradesh, India. She ran in an election reserved for women. Her husband was leader in the previous term. When I interviewed Devi last month about BPL cards, these are food ration cards that are given to India's poorest, she gave contradictory answers.
सारे मिले तो सबका है छोटा नहीं है कोई लोग छूट गए हैं और कोई लोग मिले हैं.
After the interview was completed, Muni's husband later admitted to me he is the brains and she is the face. Many women leaders admit they act as proxies because they feel a sense of obligation to the people who helped them get elected. But there are preventative measures in place. In several states, district authorities have banned husbands or family members of the women representatives from even entering political meetings.
We can't just overnight expect that a social fabric of a country which systematically marginalizes, subjugates, kills its baby girls will suddenly change. Because we know that it only happened when we had every citizen of this country participating in democratic processes from the smallest unit of governance to parliament.
Now there is a national women's reservation bill on the table, which would also reserve 33% of seats for women, this time in the federal and state parliament. The lower house is yet to vote on the legislation. Many legislators see the national bill as a natural outgrowth of the local quota, which has groomed a number of female political leaders, many now eager to lift their voices from village centers to India's political capital.